Good morning, guys. Unfortunately, it's a Friday, and the last time I filmed, I believe, was Sunday. So, whatever it was that I said that I was going to be able to do that day, never got done. So, at this point, I'm going to try to at least get some of the stuff that I said I was going to do completed today. So, but before I do so, I need to go make a run, take the Evo, go to the Subaru dealership, and grab. Hopefully it's the same. I'm gonna bring the hot side gasket to the downpipe to the dealership to see if it's the same. I'm not quite sure on that one. And I'm also going to need new turbo studs. And where are they? And some copper gaskets. Because I have two oil lines that I need to still attach to the block. Okay, just got back from the dealership. You wouldn't believe how much 5 studs and 2 copper washers. Ooh, what the hell happened there? Oh. How much they cost. Considering the histories I've had with bolts and studs on this car, might as well. Just don't want to have to deal with. I'd rather pay the $9 than having to drill a stud out of the hot side of the turbo. So I just want to cover also what I am doing in addition to what I had said before. Is I'm actually going to remove the gauges on the A-pillar, which is the oil pressure gauge, and which I've already kind of dismantled and taken out of the gauge pod, is the air fuel. So the reason why I'm doing that is because I'm trying to get rid of the clutter. You got the oil pressure sender, and which this connects to the block. The previous owner connected it to that port right there. I am planning on putting in a new setup, which is going to be on the sandwich plate, where because I believe there's an extra port that is available for the oil cooler, and I'm going to use that port. And I think, and I gotta look back, I don't recall, but I'm pretty sure the IAG oil pan also has a port that I could tap into, but I'm gonna have to kind of verify that because I don't really remember. I remember the Killer B having it, but anyway, so I'm gonna get rid of this this mount where this used to be sitting in, and all these wiring that kind of just ran across the AC line. Kind of looks a little disorganized. At this point, I just want to just get that clutter out of the way, just so that I don't have to kind of, fudge with it when everything else is already installed. So just in an effort to further clean up the engine bay and make things simple. So I don't really know too much about wiring, but probably the reason why things weren't really working is there's a lot of wires here that aren't really terminated and just been cut, and I'm not quite sure if these were even installed properly. And that's the whole reason why it wasn't working to begin with. But yeah, so the engine bay looks a bit cleaner, at least on that portion of it, and in this area right here. So just got a head rush. I came up too quick. Whew. But yeah, so at least I got that out of the way. What I think I'm going to do is I'm going to put back the black gauge pod, just because, well, I don't know, we'll see, because that one has kind of been ripped to shreds. Well, I'm exaggerating, of course, but it's got a bunch of holes in it, and I don't know what the cost of brand new A-pillar is going to be. The previous owner painted that black to match the gauge pods, so I may have to go look for a stock A-pillar and paint it black as well, if I don't decide to put the gauge pod back. But that's just going to be a dummy one with the gauges just kind of sitting on it, not connected, for now. So one of the gauges was tapping into the line for the blow-off valve for vacuum, so I went ahead and got rid of the T and replaced it. So we unfortunately have to head out. I didn't realize that the bolt that I had to connect the up pipe to the header is too short, so I got to get something that's at least another 1/4 of an inch taller. Okay, so it's the following day. I'm gonna just quickly recap what I did yesterday, which is really not much. Well, I did get some stuff done. I shouldn't say that, but it seems to be a reoccurring theme for me where I don't get to do much. Well, it's his life, right? But okay, so I got the turbo setup buttoned up. I got the layered gasket put in and tightened up the flanges that connects the up pipe to the header. I don't know if you guys can see that right there. Bolted up the bracket that connects to the block right there. Make sure that that's torqued properly. I connected the oil lines to the turbo that connects to the head and to the top of the oil control valve. So that's all torqued. I'm a little bit concerned about how this is all kinked up like that. It seems like it's going to want to twist loose because of the orientation. I might have to revisit this later, or just monitor it a lot just to see if this sucker is leaking. I may have to either lessen the kink or change this fitting here, but I don't know, we'll see. So I've also completed the replacement of the heater core hoses. I also connected the outlet hose that's on the bottom to the cylinder for coolant mod, and if you guys can see the T there, if you guys look back at my my older videos, you guys can see how that was set up. Also installed the, oops, stepping on the bumper there. Also installed the radiator, and I'm gonna need to order the fans fairly soon so I could kind of finish this all up over here. I'm still trying to decide when I should go lightweight main crank pulley as opposed to going back to stock. And as you guys can see, I started to kind of lay out the wiring. I still need to figure out where it goes. I think I kind of get the gist of it, because I'm not quite sure if it wraps around the front or the back when I've got the intake manifold on. I'm going to assume it's back on the driver's side and a little bit towards to the front, and it curves out on the passenger side so that it can reach this area here and the coil packs. So I got to look back at my I guess uninstall or motor removal videos that I took when I pulled out the motor several years ago. So anyway, so I think what we're going to be able to do today is the front mount, and I'm probably going to most likely go to the hardware store and get some high temp tape. Kind of going to want to wrap that a bit better. They're starting to get certain areas are starting to get kind of loose, and I kind of want to make sure that she's not unraveling. So okay, let's get started. Let's unpack the the front mount and get that installed. So it looks like this pile is starting to get less and less. That block is Jacob's block, so ultimately that's going to end up on that motor mount. He just needs to grab the heads, and maybe we could do a motor swap. So okay, let's get this front mount started, and I guess that's where we're gonna kind of stall for a bit until I get more parts. So I thought this was going to be a fairly simple install, but not so much. So we have a tow hook here, a tow hook bracket or a port, however you want to call it, where you take the tow hook and screw it on here, and that actually comes off of that piece right there, so that you can access and install the tow hook. As you guys can see, how this support bracket mounts is on these two, one stud and one bolt. Same goes for the other side, and of course this is in the way, so this was pretty welded poorly, but I'm not a welder, so I could just assume from the way it looks that that's not the way it's supposed to look. Anyway, so I have a decision to make here, whether to shave this off, but I do plan on tracking this car, and it would be advantageous if I kept the kept this port in case I do need to get towed, but probably less of an importance than being able to support the front mount. Or I can cut this piece right here and just maybe put like a little bit of an indent to be able to get around this, and I'm gonna assume that these two mounting points would be enough to keep the FMIC, or the intercooler, from falling off. That should be enough to hold it in place. So I got a decision to make here. So I can't really use air and this pneumatic cutting tool because of the radius. I don't want to be hitting this stud right here and damaging it, so I'm probably gonna have to use a Dremel. That's gonna take longer than air, but gotta get it done. Yes, and I've decided to remove this thing. The ability for me, or the necessity of a front mount right now is exceeding that of the need for a tow hook. Worst case scenario, there are spots in the chassis like that that a tow truck can take advantage of. Just gotta remove the bumper, I guess. As you saw, I got this sucker out, and there is some surface well that I got to clean up, because I need that bracket support to sit flush, against this, so this has to be smoothened out. So I put these bolts on here just to protect the threads, just in case I slipped or any of the sparks were metallic to a point where once it I'm not a welder, so I wouldn't know, so I just didn't want to take that risk. Anything to kind of hit the threads and bind. So anyway, I don't know if you guys can see that. That's probably just ashes, but I'll remove these bolts and give it a clean after I get this thing all squared away. Okay, so I got it cleaned up a bit. I got rid of the raised areas, so it should be smooth. And the front mount support should easily fit on here. So I just got to go quickly run to the hardware store. I have to get the appropriate bolts for this. I believe it's an N10 by 125. I gotta get something that's short, maybe like 25 millimeter, because it doesn't need to be that tall. I don't have anything shorter. I gotta get 2 extra bolts for these, and these are these guys right here. I should put primer on here just so that so this is bare metal. I don't want it to develop rust, so I'm gonna go ahead and do that as well. I only have a white primer, so that's not gonna matter. It's gonna be behind here anyway. So okay, that's as far as I'm going to be able to go today. I have to head to New Jersey today, or this evening I should say. It's already almost 5 o'clock. Maybe pick this up tonight, but it says 3-hour drive, 6-hour round trip. So, and depending on how long I stay in New Jersey, it may be longer. So this most likely will be picked up tomorrow. So I'm not quite sure what these are for. There's another bracket that goes in the middle. I really didn't look at the instructions. I don't think there was any. This could be for anything below 2004 STIs, but I'm not quite sure. So I gotta figure out whether or not this needs to be relocated, because this is supposed to, well, at least from the alignment of the bolt holes, this should be in the middle here. So I'm not quite sure what this is for, because it looks like these holes here line up with this guy right here. So this is all it might need. Now I would guess that there should be some support in the bottom. So I may have this thing backwards. No, I don't think so. But anyway, so I'll go do some research when I get back, and continue this on for tomorrow. Morning, guys. It is Sunday afternoon. Go ahead and continue with the front mount install. I did some investigation, and we are not going to need these. They're basically for pre-2004, I believe, where it requires the bumper support for the lower part of the bumper. So we're gonna take that out. I do have to find the lower support for the intercooler that holds it in place at the bottom. Should be in one of those packages over there. The only thing that I'm concerned about is how wide this intercooler is, and from the looks of it, it's going to get in the way of my fogs. And what I mean by that is, see how this thing is kind of protruding out, and the intercooler is going to be somewhere here, and the end tank is going to come right on this area, and it's going to need this space for the elbow for the intercooler piping. So this is going to suck. One of the reasons why I like this setup is because it doesn't have that STI cover. I do like the idea of having fogs back there just for additional lighting, but as long as we can cover that, that's not dragging around with the exposed bumper with the intercooler piping showing. I'm not really into that. I don't like that look. I like the stock look better. Okay guys, so this is about as far as I can go with this build for now, until I get more parts. I do, before signing off, I do want to note there's several things that I need to do before I can move on to the next set of installs. I don't know if you guys have seen that, but the clearance is awfully close, and what I would like to do is kind of shave off like a C, a bit off of the subframe, just so that I can feel right about the clearance. I don't know if there's going to be any kind of movement, but I don't want that banging, hearing the noise, at the same time also developing a hole because of the continuous rubbing that subframe might generate. So I also have concerns about this guy right here, where it is awfully close as well on this side, and either I bend that back or completely remove it. I'm not quite sure what the bracket is for and what it mounts, and it's not a piece where I can just unbolt, so I may have to just bend it and just be done with it. And as you guys can tell, it took up the space on both sides for, I think I might have already mentioned it, for where the fog housing rests, and unfortunately I don't have the clearance to keep the fogs, and we'll have to remove that and go with the bumper covers. I'm just kind of hoping that Subaru sells them color coded, and already with the badge or the decal in place. That way it'd be just an easy replacement. So probably what I'm going to get next is the radiator fans, because that'll allow me to also install and get this whole front end over with. The reservoir tank that came with the intercooler kit, I took this off of the old tank and placed it on there. This kind of mounts over here, and so includes a bracket. So get the main pulley, get the belts. Maybe that's what I'm going to be doing next. The downpipe I was going to do, but I still haven't decided whether I'm going to get it coated or keep the exhaust wrap on there. Just have to let that car go by. But yeah, so oh, you know what I forgot to do? I forgot to tighten the V-band on the dump tube. So I need to get that done. And I may remove that wrap also and maybe get that coated as well. I think I'm gonna do that. Anyway, there's gonna be, like I said, there's gonna be a lag on when I am going to be able to create additional posts concerning this build, because I need to start saving some money. The funding isn't there to finish the build quickly, because of just life. I've got kids in college, tuition, books, and so hopefully the next set of footage or filming that I'm going to be doing is super related. I have some parts that's still kind of in the car, just sitting there, and the fact that I need to get a new clutch. I still haven't decided yet. Yeah, so eventually I'll get that going, and I mean, I could drive her around now, but she slips really badly, so I want to get stuck somewhere. I just start her up once in a while and get her all lubed up, just so that she is not drying up. Okay, well anyway, let me end this video here. Like always, guys, be kind and stay humble. See you on the next video.